Dropsnat. Welcome to my channel. Alacidra. Welcome to my channel. 01 Ella. Welcome to my channel. 00 Rianet. Welcome to my channel.
Alright, let's get this started. Hey everybody, this is Mega Anime. I am doing some art tonight and trying to finish it off as much as I can. So I'll probably do it for a little bit until 3 my time. So let's get this started. And I'm also going to use my video. So, of Tiny Bunny. So, I hope you enjoy. I'll turn it up a little more. Oh, you get to see it pretty much the same time as we do.
Okay, should I read first or would you like to?
You go right ahead.
The wind clawed at my window all night. I wandered the fields and howled like a hungry beast. An endless song, weaved from all sorts of voices, shrill, gentle, sneering, twined in the air. They were shouting and laughing, and arguing about something. Someone was running through the snow while casting long shadows that would occasionally creep close to my bed. Our house had a mind of its own, the creaky old mind of a building that had seen a lot in its days and was seemingly trying to share its wisdom with the inhabitants. The lonely house faced the forest, and the dark green thicket gazed back with its hollow eyes, rustling, whizzing, swaying back and forth. One could come out and stand at the edge of the forest to reassure themselves. There was nobody behind the crooked trees. Fuzzy silhouettes swaying in the wind couldn't possibly do any harm. Just a play of light and shadow. Just a play. I knew it was just my imagination. I was already 12 after all. Still.
Can you see the box?
Yeah, I see him. It's cool. Oh, such lovely art.
Welcome to my channel. Welcome to my channel.
Welcome.
Hey, put away your book. How many times have I told you not to read at the table? It's bad for your health. Look at how slouchy you are. You want me to hide it?
Hide what?
Hide the book?
Yeah, let's do that. I mean, it's really the only option. I didn't protest and put the book about Conan the Barbarian aside. I was stuck on a line I couldn't understand after reading it 3 times anyway. Olya had already finished her breakfast and was munching on some cookies. She was so enthusiastic she almost looked like your typical girl from commercials.
You're not going anywhere until you finish all of it.
I, on the other hand, was still trying to drill a hole in the plate with my eyes, as if it would make the porridge disappear. Hazy anxiousness welled up inside, all because of the previous sleepless night, the black forest around our house, and the gloomy wind.
An ancestral dog. Welcome to my
welcome.
Ancestral dog. Said. Hello. Sorry for bothering you.
No
I
need.
want to offer promotion of your channel. Viewers, followers,
Okay, well, let's move on.
chat bots, etc. The price is lower than any competitor. The quality is guaranteed.
The longer I waited, the colder the lumpy white substance became.
Order management panel. Chat panel.
Can we disable that?
Turn it on /off/customize. Go to Streamrise are you.
Okay, there it goes.
Okay.
Do you want to reread it?
Yeah, I'll reread it.
Beastmaster host. Said. Wow.
The longer I waited, the colder the lumpy white substance became. It looked like a jellyfish from the Cousteau Odyssey. I love that show. I wonder how horrifying the bottom of the ocean is. Or how cold the Black Forest is at night. The spoon fell out of my hand. Mom showered me with a cold glare from her green eyes.
What did I just say?
I'll get it. I had 10 seconds to catch my breath before battling the nasty porridge once again. I felt around for the spoon. What is this? Carved on the other side of the table. Karina. Huh! That's my mom's name. I guess she carved it out with something pointy when she was little. She sure was a rascal damaging the furniture like that. She would scold me for a week if I did something similar, though. Should I remind her about it? No. She's been in a bit of a bad mood lately. I imagined her being my age, sitting under this table. I wonder, was Mom afraid of the dark back then? Were the sounds coming from the attic? Or the thick forest? Damn, that boy in that forest. I imagined my grandma coming into my little mom's room, sitting at the edge of her bed, where Olya sleeps nowadays, and saying this in her soft, smooth voice. Taiga is a special... Oh, go ahead.
Taiga is a special place, little girl. It watches you closely, sniffing you out, trying to discern what kind of beast you are. If you're a good sort, it won't abandon you in times of trouble. But if you're a bad apple, it'll grab you by the side and drag you under the ground. And that would be it.
Grandma was caring. She never fought with anybody, never yelled, never swore. Those were the times without the maddening screams until late at night, without smashed dishes and mutual accusations.
Never shaved.
She didn't need to shave. Our parents used to love each other back then. I remember listening in on one of their conversations by chance. They were talking about Grandma getting prepared for her funeral. She had already bought a casket. And she called it her cute funeral box. It waited for its time in the closet, patiently. It was black, unupholstered with meat-colored material on the inside. I saw it when my grandma was getting buried. The house didn't change since the time she was alive. Only all of the photos were gone. Glass-covered pictures with gray faces of my ancestors. They all had a dead but watchful look in their eyes. I crawled out from under the table. Olya was done with her cookies and was looking at my share like a sly woodland creature. I turned my gaze toward the frosted window. There were a lot of dark pines outside, but they didn't grab my attention. The pattern of frost formed a picture on the glass.
AHBDES. Welcome to my channel.
Welcome! Olya, look, it's a fox.
Welcome to my channel.
Hey, Seven!
Where?
It looked almost like those optical illusion thingies they put on the back of student notebooks. A mixture of lines at first glance, but if you blur your vision just a little bit and look at a certain angle, not outside, on the window. Look, here's the nose, and here's...
Hey, eat up.
Yes, just a moment.
I don't see anything. Hurry up. There's not much left. Ah! There it is! But it still doesn't look like one.
And I'm telling you it does.
Nuh-uh.
It does.
Stop it. These kids, I swear.
Now I couldn't see the fox either. It disappeared. Went away. Only the frosty patterns, similar to stretched out nettle leaves, kept creeping up the glass. My dad entered the kitchen with long, measured steps. I want to have a beard like his when I grow up. Mom would always ask jokingly, "Come on, shave it off, it stings." This was so long ago. Nowadays, rumbling doors and witty comebacks were an everyday occurrence. Olya always covers her ears when she hears something like, "What's the point of all this?" through the wall. "It's all for your sake," Dad would reply, "for the sake of our family." I always caught every sound of fear, I always caught every sound in fear of hearing the most dreaded, the deadliest word that started with a D. D-I-V-O. I don't even want to finish it. It was scary to imagine that me and my little sister could be torn apart and taken into two different families.
Anyway, your fox is nothing. I have an owl on my window. You and your owl talking again? You said you believed me just yesterday. Has anybody seen my car keys? I remember leaving them on the windowsill.
The owl took it.
Right. Maybe you did and maybe not. You're a grown man, a father of two, and still...
Welcome!
Karina, please stop. Just let me get ready in peace. Your keys are in the basket near the phone. Well, thank you very much. Austin, stop making... Anton, stop making a... martyr out of yourself and finish eating already. And the owl? There was no owl. But there was one! It had giant glowing eyes!
Oops, excuse me. Olya sprung up from the chair and placed her hands on her little face, imitating a pair of eyes with her fingers, the size of an apple each. Last year you had
Bye-bye in your closet, and now this owl. But I saw it!
Olya shifted her gaze back and forth from Dad to Mom to me, but couldn't find any support.
Have you thought about befriending it?
We might have to turn it down. This is a really loud game.
You know, like feeding it with imagined mice? Don't bully our girl. She's just afraid to sleep alone because she's still little.
Olya pouted her lips in rebellion and rushed into the hallway. The staircase that led to the second floor creaked. Mom gave Dad a strict look. Oh, that look in her eyes. It's so uncomfortable to be pinned under it. Dad just snorted in reply and left, ringing the keys he just found. A minute had passed, and the theme song from The Little Mermaid echoed through the house. It was stored on an incredibly old, worn-out cassette tape, which Dad already had to glue together once. It's so easy to fix objects by gluing them back together, for example. But how do you fix a relationship? Mom moved to the living room, and I was left alone, anxiously stealing glances at the window. Olya had trouble sleeping ever since we moved to this house. She would toss and turn or curl up into a ball under her blanket. Sometimes she would jump up in the middle of the night and turn on the VCR. Cartoons helped her take her mind off of all her troubles we had with the move and our parents. And then Olya said she saw that giant flying monster outside her window. She became obsessed with it. Our parents did everything in their power. They tried every
BMYK.
little trick to get rid of
Welcome
those
to my
ridiculous
channel.
fears. Olya
Hey, welcome to the channel.
Olya refused to sleep alone and didn't believe that the owl was just one of her nightmares. After tonight, I was unsure what to make of my sister's words, what to think of it myself. Can nightmares be infectious?
How you doing?
Pretty good.
I didn't know if you needed something to drink or not.
Oh, I'm good. Just last night, I couldn't get a wink of sleep and ended up thinking of what to expect in my new school. There were a couple of days left before the beginning of a new term. My imagination drew long, twisting hallways that led to a classroom full of kids. But all the students behind their desks were simply dark figures, cut out using a template. Circular holes gaped in the middle of their faces, and pairs of eyes blinked inside those holes. It was as if some completely different creatures were looking at me from behind the black, flat silhouettes. Their cruel glares, filled with icy sneers, made me shiver from head to toe. Will I survive here? Won't they gang up on me and beat me down? Stomp on me with their bloody shoes? The damn school can burn for all I care. I just wished for anything to happen to it. Really doesn't matter what. I didn't want to go there that badly. I didn't want to see people who were just itching to smack me on the head, trip me up, think of a new offensive name for me, worse than the previous one. Welcome! I felt like the glasses I wore made me an outsider, or some sort of monster. My gaze slid across the drawings hanging on the walls. I couldn't consider myself a great artist, but Olya begged me to
Asm_mu.
drawing was the only
Welcome
thing
to
that
my
made me
channel.
happy as of late.
Hey, welcome to the channel.
Circle of friends I had also enjoyed. I'm gonna restart. The small circle of friends I had also enjoyed my paintings, and they promised to call me from time to time. Sometimes I imagine Mom picking up the phone and saying in a cold voice, "You've got the wrong number," or "Anton is not around." Anton is not around. I imagine my future classmates lying in their beds, just like me, listening to the howls of invisible werewolves outside their windows.
Commander Root.
Maybe...
Welcome to my channel.
Welcome! Maybe my new classmates will like me after all. But who would ever like a boy with thick glasses? I mean, my dad used to wear glasses when he was little. And now he's married to the most beautiful woman on the planet, my mom. The house creaked, pressed by the wind. The condo we used to live in, a 9-floor concrete building, buzzed with the neighbor's drill, mumbled with a TV set from behind the wall, cried like a baby from the big family next door. Our current house, though I can't really call it new, was completely different. It was silent and easygoing during the day. Its shadows lay dormant in the corners, on the closet cobwebs, and under the stairs. But they all woke up during the night. Something was watching me from every corner, almost as if the old photos of my diseased family with their ashen eyes were hanging on the walls in place of my drawings. The floor was squeaking, rusty drains were moaning, the attic was occupied by noisy drafts. One could think the house was performing some sort of demonic melody. And then I realized I was, in fact, hearing music. It was already playing for a good while. Somewhere at the edge of my perception, I could hear a flute. It was mixed in with the sound of the wind, of the creaking old house, and my thoughts, too. I stood up and rushed to the window. I wanted to reassure myself that this music was nothing more than a product of my imagination. It's not like someone is playing it there, amidst the cold, snowy night, right? Okay, I guess we're gonna open the window. Oh. Someone was dancing in the field. Black silhouettes I could barely make out, with the dark forest as their backdrop. They jumped around, basked in the moonlight, bumped into piles of snow, rolled around, and crawled on all fours. Stories about wolves playing under the moon came to mind, but these were clearly not wolves. They stood upright at times, circled around, holding hands and whipping up snow, disappearing into the shadows for a brief moment, and then coming back. Something bizarre was going on. Shadows dancing in the starless abyss made my imagination go wild, making me anxious at the same time. Suddenly, the music had stopped.
Dun dun dun.
The dancing shadows froze in place, and I could swear pierced me with their eyes. One of the silhouettes immediately parted from the bizarre shadow carnival and sprinted across the field with giant leaps. It glided on squeaky snow without leaving any prints until it was devoured by the pitch-black shadow of my house, which became even darker and thicker. My heart was jumping around like the bird inside a cage. I shut the curtains with a swift motion and stepped back toward the bed. They saw me! A freezing torrent of fear washed over me. I stood in the middle of a perfectly dark room and listened to some unwanted guest move and scrape around, looking for an entrance. The sound moved to the right, then circled around the house. Now my guest should be at the front door. I jumped into the bed and covered myself with the blanket as if it could protect me. The shackles of fear unlocked my muscles. I remembered the funeral. My grandma lying there, hands crossed on her chest, her facial features sharp like that of a tin doll. Ants running up and down the legs of chairs that held my grandma's casket. I imagined those little creatures climbing up her head and pulling up her eyelids with their tiny legs.
Interesting.
Then her wrinkly eyeballs would once again move inside their sockets, and then she'd be able to see her grandchildren. I was chanting the spells she taught me throughout the whole procedure. And now, lying under the blanket and listening to squeaks and howls, I was repeating the same words. On the island of Bunin, under the blemished sun, in the sea of color blue, stands a cabin made of wood. And there lard and ashen hair for the spawn from devil's lair to feast and always leave alone God's faithful servant named Anton. Evil leave this house must. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Bizarre sounds had disappeared. I cautiously peeked out from under the blanket and saw curtains waving around like a hangman. And then the night doused me with a new portion of boiling terror. The sound scratched at my eardrums. In reality, something or someone was scratching at the front door, hurriedly clawing at wood, demanding to be let in. The door was shut. Dad had become very cautious recently, so he installed a sturdy lock. I remember him staring at the forest intently as if he were looking for someone. Ashes to ashes! Dust to dust! I hugged my knees, placed my chin between them, and drilled the door with my eyes. It was so flimsy and weak before the might of darkness. And then the doorknob twitched slightly. Then it turned halfway, once, twice, as if the person who tried to enter had no hands. The doorknob tilted once more and then started clicking violently. My jaw cramped from fear. My wet fingers clutched the blanket. The door creaked and opened. The wind taunted me, moaning inside the tin drains. Now you'll see. The door was wide open. The darkness writhed inside the carnivorous mouth of the doorway. Tony. I forgot you gotta do the voices.
Tony.
Skizahakab. Welcome to my channel.
It was as if the night
Hey,
itself
welcome to
were
the
calling
channel.
out to me, flapping its black wings and squeaking with rusty hinges. I was trembling, ensnared by the web of darkness that hung in the corners of my room, waiting for the one who weaved it to come out of the gaping black hole.
Tony.
My abdomen tightened and my chest rose up, ready to exhale a desperate scream. But before I was able to do anything, the darkness asked me.
Tony, you asleep?
My sister's pale face protruded from the thick shadows. I almost screamed from relief. Olya, I'm not sleeping. Did something happen? Olya frowned and stuck out her lower lip, a clear sign that she was about to cry.
It's there again, staring at me.
Shoo her away. Oh, sorry, that's you.
Shoo her away, Tony, please. I'm so scared.
The fear that was tormenting me just a minute ago crawled away and hid somewhere in my stomach. I needed to calm Olya down. It was just a dream, silly. Don't be scared. Dreams don't bite. No one's going to harm you. She was trying her best to believe me. But was I sure myself? I have an idea. Let's go to your room and watch the video. Sleeping Beauty, for example. You like that cartoon, don't you?
Why does Sleeping Beauty have a prince and I have this scary bird?
That question took me by surprise. All right, let's watch Cinderella. My thoughts became tangled, fuzzy. What was that? What studied me with its eyes while dancing feverishly under the moon? The darkness was clinging to the window, and it couldn't be fooled by Grandma's old chants. It couldn't be satisfied with a feast of lard and long ashen hair.
Tony, you coming?
Yes, just a moment. Oh! Did it eat us? That's why I didn't want to laugh at Olya and her owl in the morning. Who could be visiting us here in the middle of nowhere? I don't know anyone around here. So persistent. I felt extremely unsettled just from a silly thought that our morning guests could have been from the woods. I could barely hear voices coming from the front door. My mind was urging me to hide. In the closet. Under the table. Behind the curtains, where Olya always hides.
Tony, come here.
I felt the kettlebells were tied to my feet, but still dragged them toward the hallway. A couple of policemen towered over me in the doorway. They smiled like frost and worry. My mom always winced and grumbled the moment she saw patrol cars. Worse than bandits. At the moment, though, she looked somewhat confused. Hello. The senior officer, who wore a grim expression, nodded.
A boy had gone missing yesterday. His name is Vova. Look at this, please. Look at this, please. Have you seen him?
The policeman held out a photograph to me.
Lord Timmy.
There was
Welcome
a
to my
ginger boy
channel.
around the age of
Mark
elementary
Zink.
school, pictured
Welcome
with a
to my
wall hung
channel.
as the backdrop.
Hey, welcome to the
He had a
channel.
striped cat in his hands and wore
We're
a wide
watching
smile.
Tiny Bunny,
No,
if
I
you're
haven't.
interested. It's from
Are
my
you
last
sure?
stream.
Look closely.
If you want to talk,
Where
I'm here
would
to
I
talk
see
too.
him? I don't know anyone around here. I barely leave the house.
Well, maybe you've seen him from the window. That's right. Your windows. Look straight at the forest, don't they? Let me read that again. That's right. Your windows look straight at the forest, don't they?
The window. No, I haven't seen anything.
I see.
He sounded tired, but his eyes, his stare, long and heavy, was full of suspicion. I squirmed unwittingly under the weight of guilt which his giant shadow cast over me. The policeman finally tore his eyes away from me and glanced over the hallway, the stairway, and the cracks in the ceiling, which I haven't noticed before for some reason.
How do you like your new place, by the way? Getting used to it? Bit by bit. It's just our little daughter misses the city a lot. Missing the city, huh? Have the locals been treating you well? Yes, everything is alright, thank you.
The policeman pierced
Skuma.
through me one more time.
Welcome
with
to
his
my
gray
channel.
eyes. My
Hey,
head
welcome
Skuma.
to the
started
channel.
spinning.
Said. Can you draw me?
Can I help you somehow? I asked that in a shaky voice to look like a polite boy and to end this unpleasant conversation sooner.
Now that I think about it, you look just like one of my nephews.
Probably
Little
not
fella.
tonight.
He's a witty boy around your age. Wears the same type of goggles. Always engrossed in reading those mystery novels. Told me he wants to enroll in police school. when his family visits this summer. Wanted to help other people just like me. See?
I felt uncomfortable, as if a distant relative, and not a police officer, stood in front of me.
You know what? Little boys like you should stay at home. Steer away from trouble. The times have changed so much.
Mom interjected in a cold voice.
You don't say. Ah, well then. What grade are you in, Tony boy?
6th.
Have you made any friends here so far?
Not yet. I'll be going to school for the first time after the break.
Ah, then I'll leave you my number. Just in case, call me if you have any new info.
The policemen were gone along with their shadows, the smell of cheap cologne, and the photo of a smiling boy. Weird that he would give the number to the kid.
Yeah, no kidding. It's like, here you go, here's my number. By the way, I drive a candy van.
Yeah, so weird, right? I'm thinking he was one of the creepy animals.
Yeah, could be.
Alright.
When I saw the creepy animals and they showed the kid, the first thing that popped in my head, instead of them dancing and stuff like that, that they were,
Yeah.
yeah. But that was my thought. I was like, that would be kind of creepy if they were not dancing, but...
A ritual of some sort?
Yeah.
Like a ritual murder? Yeah, I mean, that's pretty common in these types of stories.
Well, in the backwoods of nowhere, anything is possible.
Yeah. Growing up in my hometown, we had to keep our black cats in the house during Halloween. Local cultists would murder them, sacrifice them.
Well, here, kids have a tendency of shoving fireworks up their butts and blowing them up.
How about I do that to them, little assholes? Maybe they'll learn.
Yeah. Who knows? It just doesn't make any sense to me at all that anyone would harm a cat. I know why they do it, because witches... They believe that witches turn into their cats and stuff like that. And that's why when they used to burn witches, they also burn the cats with them.
It's still cruel and sociopathic, and if your kid is sitting there torturing animals, you should probably get his head looked at.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that usually pops into... They need some help.
Yeah, no kidding.
You want to continue?
Yeah.
Okay.
His face still stood before my eyes. I wondered what it was like for him, being all alone, there. For some reason, I thought of the forest swaying in the wind. What did his poor parents feel?
The only thing I'm wondering is what, like, if this is winter break, or if this has to be winter break.
I mean, it's pretty clear they're in Russia. I don't exactly know what the weather patterns in Russia are.
Yeah, true. Let's see.
And what would my parents do if I'd gone missing?
Find you and kill you when they find you?
Probably. Your mom is scary, dude. Would they cry and thrash around
Another viewer.
hysterically?
Welcome to my
Or
channel.
would they accuse each other? Like
Hey,
they
welcome
always
to the
do,
channel.
and forget about me eventually. Mom, this Vova, did he go missing in our forests?
Seems like it. Poor child.
I looked at the window, at the road.
All I can say is, look how they did a great job on the snow. And, well, the
Yeah.
whole art style is really good.
It's really pretty. I like the simplicity of it.
But the way that the road goes, it goes right into the forest.
Which is really cool. I really like how they smudged it, you know, kind of like how it would look through a dewy pane of glass.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I like the darks and stuff like that. It's really unique in its own little way.
Yeah.
And it's like it's partially rain and snow put together in some ways.
Yeah. The police UAZ drove off toward the village. The officer's nephew came to mind when I was splitting off old paint from the windowsill.
I wouldn't want to do that.
Well, if he doesn't eat it, he'll be fine.
No, I meant like peeling paint off a windowsill.
Oh, I do that.
Oh.
You don't like it?
Well, I don't like the scratching noise. It sometimes it drives me nuts.
I remembered all the teenage mystery novels from the Black Kitty series I've read this summer. Your average boys and girls investigated all sorts of mysteries there. They looked for clues, spied on suspicious people.
SR71_M. Welcome to my channel.
Hey, welcome to the channel.
They became local celebrities and must have made their parents very proud. I noticed a trail of policemen's footprints that led to the forest. And then it clicked in my head. Why don't I start an investigation of my own? Maybe I'll find that lost boy.
Maybe I'll get in trouble with my parents.
Maybe I'll die.
Maybe I'll get lost too.
And I'll get a reward. Oya will be so happy.
Maybe it'll be money. And then we can buy whatever we want to.
Yes.
Candy!
I mean, what else is a kid gonna use his money on? Books, maybe?
You know, if only he read Goosebumps, he would actually find out that it's not really a happy ending.
No, I loved Goosebumps. And not only Oya, Mom and Dad too. Maybe they'll even forget about their quarrels for a while. Maybe I'll even save us from the D word.
And maybe I'll ever eat my food that's still not finished.
I mean, if you put porridge in front of me, I don't think I'd eat it either.
I like oat milk.
Weird texture. Bleh.
I like warm. I like hot oat milk.
I fantasized about buying Oya a Tamagotchi and getting a cassette player and a bunch of tapes for myself. And a whole box of Kinder Surprise.
Because somehow I solved the case already.
Well, you know. Motivation. When was the last time our parents bought us any toys?
There's a toy right there. There's a top.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, that could have been old.
Yeah, it could have been, like, in Grandma's old house for centuries now.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's kind of an old top.
Yeah. Last autumn, I think. My dad had lost his job at the time. There's that annoying song about it.
Lose your job and pay your bills. No, sorry.
I had little to no idea what was the accountant's job like. They count money, I think? Neighbors used to envy us. But nowadays, Mom and Dad barely had money to afford sweets, and Dad would always divide a single chocolate bar between me and Oya. Sometimes I gave her my share too. He's such a good brother.
Yeah.
No matter how much I wanted to eat sweets, she was still just a pipsqueak.
I don't know if you noticed, but there's the Harry Potter.
Oh yeah, there's the cupboard under the stairs.
And then there's the phone.
Yeah.
Weird place to have it near the front door, but I guess
It makes sense to me, I guess.
Well, it's better than being in one of the rooms.
The bathroom.
Oh God.
We found
I'm
the phone. We found the phone in one of the bathrooms in Faz, didn't we?
Yes. Yeah, I don't understand phones and showers and stuff like that. That never makes any sense to me.
Shower phone in case of an emergency.
Yeah, if I fall, there's no freaking way I can. What are you gonna do?
Well, I mean, if someone breaks into your house, I guess.
You're not really gonna hear it over the water.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like it's more terrifying if I come out of my shower and I chase your ass down, naked as the day I was born, with a fucking hair dryer in my hand. Like, I feel like you're gonna get the fuck out of my house really fast.
Pretty much. Insane woman lives in this house.
And not to mention my insane boyfriend who has way too many guns and axes and knives.
All in one location.
And a wish a motherfucker would attitude.
Yep.
Okay, anyway, on that note. I couldn't wait to go out looking for clues. I'm going outside!
The hell you are.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, right. You want the police to go around with your photograph next? The forest is so thick. What if the boy got snatched up by wild animals? Or something even worse?
Even worse, echoed through the hallway.
Worse, worse, worse.
I won't go far. I'll stay away from the forest. Liar.
Did you hear what I said? Or should I repeat myself? Better go pack your school bag. Better go pack your school bag and play with Olia.
The sound of splashing water came from the kitchen. It meant that the argument was over and Mom had the last word. Well, crap. Okay, well, are we,
Do you want to do the kitchen? To open this?
I want to see what's under the stairs. The dark, stuffy closet. Mom says it smells like mice, but how would she know their smell? She hates when I stick my nose in there. She's afraid I'll cut myself on the freshly sharpened axe.
Right there.
Mm-hmm. And Olia can't even be lured close to it. She thinks Babai is living there. I tried to help her fight her fears once. I opened the door and turned on a dim lamp so she would see there was nothing but cobwebs, Dad's tools, and scratched walls. She still didn't believe me. And I liked to hide in the closet and listen to Olia count outside. 1, 2, 3, better hide from me! And then drag her little feet on the creaky floorboards, hoping that she wouldn't need to look for me in the cramped monster's den.
Okay, we have kitchen or the front yard.
Kitchen. Did she cut her hair? She had a ponytail the next scene over.
Did she?
Yeah, I could swear it.
We have open or turn back.
Open the fridge.
Ooh, yeah, they pretty much don't have much in here.
What's in the icebox? Grandma kept ice cream for me and Olia there, but now I could only see meat bits for soup and clumped together polemni. I grew to hate them already.
And something right here. I have no idea what it is.
Polmeni. It's Polmeni. I've never heard of that. Okay, I guess we'll go back.
There's pickles, I think. Maybe.
Probably pickles.
This might be butter.
Mm-hmm.
No clue what that was.
Jam.
Lemon.
I don't know.
That might be butter as well. I know there's a pot.
It's all butter.
And then this side has medications.
Yeah. Oh, and eggs at the top.
Yep.
Okay, and I guess we'll go back now. I guess we go outside like we told Mom we wouldn't.
Anton! I'll whip you if you make a single step out the door.
Oops. I guess we just need to click on stuff. Mom's peg top, a family relic. My mom played with it when she was little. Then she gifted it to me. Olya was next in the succession line. The toy belongs to her now. She stares at the dancing spindle as if it could show her something. A fairy tale, or maybe even our future. Now even my little sister was a bit too old for the old squeaky peg top. The phone? My parents prohibit me from making long-distance calls, but from time to time I really want to hear my old friends. Sometimes I would just pick up the phone, listen to the low hum of the zoomer and the distant crackling, imagining the wind howling and the ice-leaden chords.
Anton, get your ass out of the closet immediately!
Damn, bitch has eyes in the back of her head. Alright, what about his shoes? No? Okay. Kitchen. This cross had seen so many people come and go in this house. It was black as if it absorbed all human sin from the long years it was hanging under the ceiling. But after Grandma died, Mom was going to take it off and hang a horseshoe in its place as a lucky charm. But she cut herself at the cross's sharp corner and almost fell from the stepladder. Well, that's a sign! Dad called it a sign from above and ordered the cross to be left alone in its rightful place.
Let's see.
I took a peek at Mom's crossword. She would get very angry when someone gave her advice, so me and Dad faked knowing the answer and being about to reveal it all the time. I smiled at that fleeting thought. Vertical, 9 letters. The name of the Philistine deity that protected them from the viper bites and had a nickname, the Lord of the Flies. Second letter is E. It was difficult to lie to Mom, but there was no other way for me to run away from home. Mom, something's wrong with the TV. The picture is dim and there are stripes all over the screen. Mom's face became visibly distorted.
You're killing me here. So have you had enough of shooting those stupid ducks now? Told you the
Kinescope, I think?
kinescope will go dim because of your console. Where will we find a TV technician in this whole... Huh?
Maybe it's just the settings. Please, go see for yourself.
Strange. It worked fine in the morning.
Maybe the snowfall caused it. Mom rubbed her hands clean on her apron and went to Olya's room. Run! No, we need to go out while she's distracted. Okay. The decrepit and stain-covered calendar was once my favorite form of entertainment in my grandma's house. I remember waking up and running to the kitchen so I could tear off yesterday's leaf first thing in the morning, as if the coming day would get lost in the taiga forest without my help. One day closer to New Year's, one day closer to Grandma's funeral. I haven't touched this calendar for years now. Since the time they started writing dark and spooky death chants that only made me gloomy instead of funny proverbs and superstitions, to be exact. I grabbed a dusty calendar leaf with caution and tore it off effortlessly. Sadly, the spooky descriptions from my childhood were still there. 7 horses carry the log. If 7 can't carry, bring the 8th from a fairy. They will take it away and never come back. This is the fate the log can't escape. I crumbled the gray leaf and threw it into the waste bin, hoping to get rid of the anxiousness that washed over me. It was spreading inside me like an ink stain on blotting paper. Run!
With no coat on.
I opened the front gate and went into the field. Carefully, so my mom wouldn't see me from the window.
Looks like an owl.
Yeah, it does.
There's words in the...
You know? When I crossed half the distance towards the forest, the snowy piles became as high as my knees. I remembered my nightly fears. I saw those silhouettes around here. They were jumping around, holding hands. That hypnotizing music started playing in my head all on its own. In the light of day, those distant figures felt like a simple dream. The sun turned my nightmares to ash, but the aftertaste was still there. Distant ringing in my ears, distorted shadows crawling on the snow alongside me, and a barely audible whisper in my head, blurry and almost kind. Everything was silent. So silent I felt like the world was totally empty. No ground, no sky, no parents, no Olya. The time reached its limit, a one-way trip that ended at the forest's piney stockade. Sometimes silence was much scarier than any scream. Our parents would scream at each other while arguing, and both me and Olya turned to stone, listening to them. But then always came the ringing silence. Our apartment became numb a couple days before we departed. It was hard to remember the last time Mom and Dad joked around, laughing, or spent time together, almost like all of it was in a previous life. When they kissed with Olya present, she always frowned and snorted in a funny way. But one day it all changed. Something important had left our home, and something scary filled the remaining void. It was as if a fire broke up, and our parents were hurriedly packing all our belongings, trying to save themselves and us. From who, though? From the people with dead, cold eyes, who sometimes visit us in our previous home? The eyes that only saw balls of worms on the black ground and everything. And somewhere far away a siren was going off, trying to warn us of the coming menace. This kid sure is smart. Very poetic. I shuddered, chasing away my delusions, and looked around. There were only me, this white field, and the wind that was whipping up icy dust and belts of powdered snow. I squinted from the sun and turned my eyes to the sunless forest. It looked especially dark in contrast with the blinding whiteness. Knobby tree roots slithered under the snow like fat snakes. Rotten leaves and coniferous needles froze into the ice. Dry, prickly branches intertwined, bringing up uncomfortable thoughts about fences. Were they protecting the forest? Or were they keeping something from breaking out? Some object was hanging by one of the pointy branches. I tried to get closer, drowning in snow, and when I almost got to the edge of the forest, I saw a knitted mitten. It looked like a wounded bird among the hungering semi-dark. . Should I take it to the police? Their senior officer looked gloomy, but he still reminded me of Captain Casanova from my favorite TV show called The Streets of Brooklyn Lights. Or Broken. Bleh. He was also always anxious, with a tired look in his eyes, but still brave and strong. Will this mitten help them find the lost boy? Vova! I heard a distant shout, like it came from the river. Vova! As if the trees were calling out to someone. Vova! Resounded closer to me. Someone was standing there, behind the trees. Hiding. Vova! I knew someone was looking for the lost boy, but still, something was unsettling about that figure. Its stillness, how it was bent unnaturally toward the ground. Its blackness. There's no one there, just branches and roots. It's all just my imagination. A nearby bird flapped its wings loudly. A shadow split from the tree and disappeared from my sight. I looked away for just a moment, but when I turned my gaze back to the same place, it was gone. So it was my imagination after all. Silence reigned for a painfully long time. My muscles were tightly sprung. My heart was beating somewhere in my throat. Any noise, any little movement, any small whisper from a thicket, I'd sprint. But nothing of the sort happened. I looked at the mitten once more. Take it. I decided to take the lonely mitten from the branch. This is how we die. Vova! Oh wait, I should let you do these.
Vova.
A shout rumbled across the field and dissolved into the distance. No echo, no hope for a reply. I stepped toward the bristly trees and tried to claim my find. It didn't budge. I pulled harder. The branch cracked and the mitten tore off, landing in my hand with a squishy sound. Oh no. Ugh. All too heavy. Wet. I squeezed it without thinking and something dark spilled from it, forming a tiny string between the mitten and the snow. Steam rose from the snow pile. I froze in place, studying my palms in disgust. Red. The sound of cracking branches invaded the silence. I didn't have time to think twice before running away. Someone was chasing me from the darkness, breaking pine branches, closing the distance with giant leaps. Snow was slowing me down. Crazy thoughts flew through my mind. I'll get caught. They'll get me. I'll get dragged into the thicket. I'll be gone forever. But there was one more voice, probably one of reason. It gave me strength, spurred me on. You can do it! Don't stop! I heard an animal roar behind me. It was so loud my ears went numb. It felt like the sound had come from the pack of hungry beasts rather than a single one. Their nostrils sucked in freezing air. They sensed my fear. Two giant wings flapped over my head. An enormous shadow flew over the clearing. A hoot, a wheeze. The roars were coming from all directions now. From the dried up raspberry bush, from the twisted pines, from under the windfall. Hurry, run, don't look back. It felt like I was inside a nightmare. The snowy clearing became viscous like quicksand. I was stuck in place. I pulled my leg from the mushy trap just to be caught in a new one, even deeper than before. I continued to drown, sinking deeper and deeper with every desperate push. Was snow ever this sticky? I screamed in horror after realizing this wasn't snow. Someone or something in the snow pile was clutching my pants. I gathered all my strength and rushed forward. The pressure on my leg was gone. My boots slipped out of the hole and my soles were on a hard surface again. I reached a clear path with one jump and from there ran to my house. Its gloomy facade didn't look threatening now. That house was my line of defense from the shadows that flapped their wings and the creatures that were hidden under the snow. I tripped over the doorstep and smashed into the door. In all my hurry, I still managed to notice the claw marks. As if a dog were striking the wood with its paws, demanding to be let in so it could escape the cold. I hadn't noticed these marks when I was leaving. The heartbeat in my ears was much louder than my surroundings. I couldn't hear whether someone was following me or not. What if they were already in our front yard and Mom had locked the door? Drowning in fear, I pulled on the doorknob and it obediently gave way. I rolled into the hallway and shut the door behind me. Porch planks creaked as my pursuers ascended the stairs. My fingers slipped off the lock and I couldn't click it into place. I gritted my teeth and pulled hard on the iron knob, whipping it between the boards. I stared blankly at the door. Someone was standing on the other side of the pitiful, flimsy barrier that was probably less useful than blankets. Wheezing breath reached into the house and crashed at me in waves. It smelled of pine and sweat. Mom peeked out of the kitchen and chastised me with the same frigid voice she always used when talking to Dad.
What exactly don't you understand when I told you to never slam the door?
I didn't mean to. I snuck a glance at the door. The smell was gone, and the breath was too. If there was someone in the first place, of course. Here, near 5 meters away from my mom, my fear was slowly weakening, melting like snow in spring, and with it the last bit of strength I had left my body too. My legs gave way. I propped myself against the wall so I wouldn't fall over. Mom's expression had changed immediately. The cold mask of strictness and detachment was gone. Mom looked the same as before all those quarrels. She finally saw my condition, my wet pants plastered with snow.
Where have you been? What did I tell you, huh? I told you to stay home. Am I nothing to you, too?
I got afraid she would cry. I reached out to her like when I was very little and wanted her to cuddle me. But Mom regained her composure fast and put on her usual face. Her eyes shined like steel. Her voice rang out.
Your dad can't find his cigarettes. Be honest, did you snatch them? Were you smoking in secret?
There was someone chasing me. I thought... I stuttered as soon as I started explaining myself. Tears welled up in my eyes. Mom leaned toward me and sniffed my clothes like a beast, searching for the smell of tobacco. Then she squinted her eyes in suspicion and looked into the front yard. Her expression changed in an instant and she covered her mouth with her hand.
Look over there, at the fence.
My heart started thumping as if I became prey once again and my pursuers were following me in the field. I could swear that I've heard something scratch at the door, just like in my nightmare. Mom beckoned me with her finger, and I gathered all my remaining bravery to look into the kitchen window, facing my fear. I could barely discern some hairy silhouettes swimming in the snow through the icy winter patterns on the glass. Dogs. Just a small pack of strays with no name and owner, barely reminding of the hungry monsters that live on the edge of the forest.
Oh boy, were you scared of them? I think you'd rather be scared of you. I think they'd rather be scared of you, Anton.
They were chasing me like a bunny. And what if they're rabid? The smile had slowly disappeared from Mom's face. Now she looked at the dogs as if it were her first time seeing them.
What if they attacked Ola? Oh yeah, sorry. What if they attacked Oh yeah.
Mom?
I wish your dad could just shoot them all. Okay, I'm against that, but...
I mean, if they're a pack of wild dogs that are rabid and starving, it's really the only thing you can do. Mom, look! They're alive!
Huh? What? Are they your friends or foes, after all? Make up your mind. You're not a little kid anymore.
Mom sighed in annoyance, and I felt so bitter that I bit my lower lip and fixed my gaze on the cobweb-ridden corner. Well, some detective I am. In reality, I wasn't risking my life among monsters, but rather my pants among a pack of stupid strays. And what for? What use do I have for this? Mitten. Of course! A dark and sticky mitten that belonged to the lost boy made a squishy sound in my hand. Seems like I was clutching it the whole time. That's my trump card as a detective. I hurried to present this clue to my mom. Mom, look, this is Vova's mitten. That boy the police were asking about in the morning. It's drenched in blood. I found it hanging on a tree. I can show where. Let's call the police right away, like the officer had told us to. Mom, look!
Ew.
A shadow of doubt slowly crept onto my mom's contorted face. As if she were trying to remember something distant. Like someone tries to remember their dream, but the images slip away.
Stop that. Stop in this moment. Oya will go insane if she hears you. She's already has trouble sleeping and whines all the time. And you joke around like this?
At that moment, I realized the mitten was actually wet from snow. There was no blood whatsoever. I wanted to sink through the floor from embarrassment.
Come here, my boy. Who cries wolf? Oh, don't just stand there. Come take your pills.
A golden-colored pill, reminiscent of a dead wasp, fell into my palm. I already took one during breakfast.
Don't talk over me. I told you to stay home and Dad would have given you a good whooping for that. Come on, take it, or you won't be able to sleep at night, and you have school tomorrow.
So I had to swallow the bitter medication, drinking it down with similarly awful water that gave off a taste of chlorine. Maybe it wasn't Vova's mitten. Maybe it wasn't a mitten at all. Just like the forest monsters. And Olya's owl. Am I going mad? What's happening to me? Either the pill had an immediate effect, or my overexerted brain didn't let fear inside anymore. Serenity washed over me, bringing yawny indifference along with it.
Anton, you done? See, you can do it. Wait. Alright. See, you can do it when you try. Take off your coat. Are you asleep?
No, Mom, I was just thinking.
What about, I wonder?
It's just something silly. Mom scrutinized me with suspicious eyes, as if she wasn't sure she was looking at her own son and not some doppelganger that came back from the forest.
Is everything alright? You had the exact same expression when the policeman asked you about the window.
I'm alright, Mom. She heaved a deep sigh.
Fine.
It seemed like the house had changed. The sofa's fabric had
Alright,
become discolored.
I think I'm done for tonight. So,
Fingerprints appeared on the bathroom tiles. The light bulb also felt different, dimmer and yellower.
yeah, I think I'm done for tonight. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed it. Watching Tiny Bunny again and watching me do some artwork. I'm Mega Anime, and I hope you have a beautiful night and a great morning. Stay creative, stay spooky, and I'll see you next time. See you tomorrow, probably. Bye.